Namaskar and welcome to Express News, where we give you news, 100 stories in a fast pace. Let's begin. New Delhi hosted the 5th edition of the India-US 2+2 Ministerial Dialogue on Friday. The foreign and defense ministers of the two countries took part in this meeting. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh said that India-US bilateral ties have seen a growing convergence of strategic interests and enhanced defense, security and intelligence cooperation. He further said that India-US defense relationship, they have evolved into a strategic partnership characterized by mutual trust. US Defense Minister Lloyd Austin says that the increasingly strong ties between India and the US give him hope for the future of the relationship and for their common efforts towards a more secure world. He also said militaries are conducting increasingly complex exercises and building greater interoperability across all domains. During the meeting, India's Foreign Minister, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said that both countries will undertake a comprehensive overview of strategic defense and security ties besides technology. Minister Jaishankar said that the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the US in June and the US President Joe Biden's visit to Delhi in October, they strengthened the India-US ties. US Foreign Minister Antony Blinken said that India and the US are harnessing the power of innovation to make their economies more resilient. When both countries study, work and collaborate together, the possibilities of progress are infinite. While addressing a press conference, India's Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra said that the meetings today were indicative of enduring commitment of the bilateral partnership. He further said that in the 2+2 discussion, both the sides undertook a comprehensive review of the bilateral relations. India's Foreign Secretary said that the discussions also involved trade and investment partnership, the technology partnership, partnerships relating to the area of critical and emerging technologies, among many other things. Ahead of the India-US 2+2 ministerial meeting, the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken met India's Foreign Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, in Delhi. In the 2+2 ministerial dialogue, India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, said that we are building a visionary partnership by building a common global agenda. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that we are in favor of a free, open and a rules-based Indo-Pacific. He described India-US partnership as important. India's Home Minister Amit Shah paid tribute to the Martyrs Memorial. This is during the 62nd Foundation Day celebrations of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police in Dehradun on Friday. In his address, Amit Shah said that the service and sacrifice of the ITBP personnel, their sacrifice is priceless. India's Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has approved a path-breaking digital advertisement policy 2023. This policy is for advertising campaigns in the digital media space. The 8th Ayurveda Day is being celebrated today under the theme of Ayurveda for One Health. It's being celebrated internationally in about 100 countries across the world. Contingents of India and Kazakhstan jointly practiced and they conducted counter-terrorism operations in a sub-conventional environment. The Ethics Committee of the Indian Lower Chamber of the Legislature on Thursday adopted a report recommending the expulsion of the lawmaker Mahua Moitra from the House. The Indian share markets ended in the green as the Sensex jumped 72.48 points. It settled at 64,904.68. The Nifty gained 30 points. It closed at 19,425.35. The rupee closed flat at 83.34 rupees against the US dollar. Gold futures maturing on December 5, 2023 stood at 60,025 rupees per 10 grams. This is on the Multi-Commodity Exchange of India. Silver's futures, they also matured on, these are the ones maturing on December 5th, 2023. They were traded at 70,720 per kg on the MCX. The rating agency Moody's has retained India's economic growth at 6.7% for 2023, citing the country's remarkable resilience amid a global slowdown. Moody's, in its Global Macro Outlook 2024-25 report, said that India is well positioned to capture a greater share of global trade flows. Brent crude was trading at around $80.70 per barrel on Friday. U.S. Wall Street's major indexes closed with a slight gain on Friday. The Dow Jones gained 13.43 points, in fact, to close at 33,905.37. The ban on the export of Russian diesel and gasoline is expected to be lifted by next week. U.S. and Israel has agreed to a 4-hour daily pause in conflict in northern Gaza to allow civilians to flee safely. U.S. President Joe Biden says that the pause in Israel-Hamas fighting is meant to allow up to 158 trucks to enter the enclave daily. The U.S. President Biden threw his support behind the United Auto Workers' efforts to unionize employees at a car plant in Illinois. Biden's visit focused on reopening of the assembly plants at Stellantis, which had closed in March. The 6th annual Paris Peace Forum begins on Friday, and the 6th edition of the Peace Forum, it will focus on peace-building efforts and support for fragile countries in the context of multi-crisis. The French President Macron welcomed the leaders and held bilateral talks with several state leaders. The Paris Peace Forum will also shed light on the responsibility of major powers and emerging powers in peacemaking. Australia signs a groundbreaking pact with Tuvalu as the initiative to combat rising climate change. According to this deal, a special visa category will be provided to citizens of Tuvalu affected by catastrophic impact of climate change. Portugal will hold snap elections on the 10th of March. The president will dissolve parliament after the budget is passed. This announcement comes after the Socialist Prime Minister of Portugal, António Costa, had resigned following the arrest of his chief of staff as part of an anti-corruption investigation. There are fears among South Korean citizens after an outbreak of bed bugs in the country. Authorities have been detecting and exterminating these bed bugs. Australia released a stateless Rohingya man who was held in immigration detention for years. The step was taken after a landmark court ruling ended the indefinite detention of the asylum seekers in Australia. The Philippines criticized China's Coast Guard for using a water cannon against one of the boats to disrupt a resupply mission in the South China Sea. The Philippines said that China's actions not only endangered lives, but also cast a doubt on the sincerity for peaceful dialogue. The Russian government has told its fuel producers to prepare for scrapping all remaining restrictions on the export of diesel and gasoline. Restrictions were eased on October 6 to allow export of diesel by pipeline, but they prevented the export of gasoline. Officials have now said that the ban will be lifted once the domestic market stabilizes. A boat carrying 81 migrants reached the Spanish Canary island of El Hierro, and 5 migrants received assistance in a temporary hospital set. This is after heavy tides had hit the boat that they were traveling in while crossing. A total of 32,000 migrants have reached the Canary Islands from Western Africa. This is higher than the previous record, which was set in 2006. At least 15 people have died in northeastern Kenya after heavy rains lashed the region. The regional deluge was caused by the combined effect of 2 weather phenomena, El Nino and the Indian Ocean dipole. Unseasonal snowfall and icy winds hit northeast China, and the blizzards resulted in the closure of toll stations in some of the northeastern provinces. Ice-moving operations are ongoing to resume train services. The authorities have deployed thousands of personnel to clean up the streets. Floods that started 1 week ago have cut roads and flooded homes in villages in the region, forcing the authorities to shut schools as a precaution. France's Interior Minister warned that heavy floods in northern France could worsen overnight. Somalia faces the worst flood of the decade, killing almost 29 people and forcing more than 300,000 people to flee their homes. Authorities of Somalia have rushed to save thousands of people caught in flood waters. Amid rising air pollution in the city that's India's national capital, Delhi, or in the NCR region, it received light rainfall in the wee hours on Friday, bringing much respite to the people. The air quality index represents a 24-hour average. It stood at 346 at half past noon local time, making a notable improvement in the air quality. India is celebrating Dhanteras today, which is the first day of the Diwali festival. As part of the tradition, people invest in gold and silver in the form of jewelry and utensils. Earthen lamps, they are being prepared by artisans ahead of Diwali celebrations in the northeastern state of Assam in India. Sand art depicting Lord Ram is being created ahead of Deepotsav celebrations held in the northern Indian city of Ayodhya every year. Thousands of people gathered to take a holy dip at the Triveni Sangam, the confluence of three holy rivers, on the occasion of Dhanvantri Jayanti in the northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. The American spacecraft company SpaceX has launched a Dragon spacecraft to deliver supplies, food and equipment to the International Space Station. SpaceX's 29th commercial resupply services mission will include an atmospheric waves experiment. It will also include NASA's low Earth orbit user modem and amplifier terminal. Surgeons in New York, they have performed the first ever whole eye transplant on a 46-year-old Aaron James. Now it's being hailed as a breakthrough despite the patient not having regained his sight. The transplant surgery took 21 hours. It's shown the important signs of health, including well-functioning blood vessels and promising looking retina in the grafted eye. Surgeons at Northwestern Medicine in Chicago successfully saved the life of a Missouri resident, David Bow, and this is using an artificial lung and breast implants to keep his heart in place. The surgeons removed the infected lungs of the 34-year-old Bow. This is after his lungs had been infected after years of vaping and the flu, and is now recovering optimally in Chicago. A team of tech experts and scientists have joined forces to build a virtual reconstruction of ancient Rome with a glimpse of life in the Eternal City in its heyday. The project, titled Rome Reborn, imagines how the city might have looked at its peak around 320 AD, including important landmarks and lost monuments. More than 60 years later, scientists have rediscovered the long-lost species of Attenborough's long-beaked Echidna, which is named after the British naturalist David Attenborough in Indonesia's Cyclops Mountains. A 2-month-old female emperor penguin chick living in SeaWorld San Diego in the United States has officially been named Pearl after more than 29,000 people cast votes to name her. The Hang Doa Water Tower, a historic relic in Vietnam's Hanoi, known for its unique architecture, is being transformed into an installation art space. The water tower turned art space will be open to visitors from the 17th of November to the 31st of December. This is part of the Hanoi Creative Design Festival 2023. London's Battersea Power Station opened its popular festive ice rink. It's named Glide, and it's open for the evening for invited guests for its second year. The ice rink is composed of 3 interconnecting rinks, and they have a large Christmas tree as well. Revelers can enjoy a 360-degree view of London's skyline from the top of the landmark's chimney. A new exhibition on ballet, it's called The Red Shoes, has opened at the BFI South Bank in London as the film celebrates its 75th anniversary this year. The exhibition, titled Red Shoes Beyond the Mirror, features 100 items including production designs, posters, pictures and the red ballet shoes worn by the Scottish dancer and actress Moira Shearer. This happened in the movie. Jared Leto, the Oscar-winning actor and singer, climbed New York's iconic Empire State Building to unveil the world tour of his band, 30 Seconds to Mars. It kicks off in Buenos Aires on March 15, 2024. 65 years after Paris 1958, the film is being revived. The movie featured Maria Callas, and its revival was broadcast live on television following a painstaking restoration process. K-pop boy group Stray Kids made a comeback with its 8th extended play, Rockstar, along with the music video. The video is dominating the Melon music charts. Famous actors including Alec Baldwin and Octavia Spencer congratulated Hollywood Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA. This is after they reached a deal to end that very long strike. Members of the hip-hop collaboration Wu-Tang Clan celebrated the 30th anniversary of their debut album, Enter the Wu-Tang. Jack Baines became the first Sikh American to win the US version of Big Brother, and Baines took home a prize of $750,000 US. As a promotional campaign of the movie Sam Bahadur, Vicky Kaushal, the Indian actor, shared photos and videos in which he is seen learning drills with the Indian Army in Delhi. The teaser of the Indian film starring Kajal Agarwal, Satyabhama, released today. Rajkumar Rao and Janhvi Kapoor star a movie, Mr. and Mrs. Mahi, is set for release in cinemas on April 19, 2024. As per an official announcement, a biopic on the legendary musician and the composer Ilaiyaraaja has been announced. The actor Dhanush is going to be playing the key role. New Zealand returned to winning ways at the World Cup following a 4-match slump as they defeated Sri Lanka by 5 wickets at the Chinnaswamy Stadium Thursday. New Zealand have set one foot into the semi-finals by making it very difficult for Pakistan to qualify for the semi-finals. The Kiwis have a net run rate of plus 0.743. Pakistan has plus 0.36. Now, Pakistan is facing an improbable task of beating England by 287 or more runs to qualify for the semi-finals on Saturday. Australia will be looking to maintain the momentum ahead of the knockout stages when they tackle a Bangladesh side that's already out of the race for the semi-finals. Ben Stokes has said that he will not be leaving the World Cup early for a knee surgery. This is despite England's tour of India, Test tour, that's going to happen in 2.5 months' time. The father of the Liverpool football star Luis Diaz, who was kidnapped 2 weeks ago, has been freed by Colombia's National Liberation Army that had kidnapped him. The family and friends of Diaz cheered. They shed tears of joy as Luis Diaz's father, Luis Manuel Diaz, arrived home in the town of Barrancas. Al Ahly surrendered a 2-0 lead in the Saudi Pro League on Thursday and drew a 2-2 away match against Damak in Abha. The Argentine coach Diego Simeone has extended his contract with Atletico Madrid. It's now up to 2027. The English Premier League club Burnley said that striker Leigh Foster will be sidelined indefinitely because of a recurrence of a mental health issue. And with that, we conclude Express News. Thank you very much for spending your time with us. Namaskar.